Good afternoon, welcome to TW White & Sons in Bookham. Thank you for taking the time to browse our website, take a look at our used approved vehicles that we've currently got in stock. Today I wanted to take a few moments just to show you around this very well presented and extremely rare Mazda CX-5 that we have just taken into stock here at our site in Bookham. I'll go into a few more details throughout the video as to why this car is as rare as it is, but the first thing I think is clear to point out is how nice a condition this car's in. And it's a car that has a fantastic pedigree as well. It was sold brand new from our site here in Bookham to a very frequent and loyal customer who previously had a CX-5 before this, also had a Mazda 6 before that CX-5, so they've dealt with us and done business with us for many years. They also live in Bookham, so they're very local and we see them very frequently. And they part exchanged this car a few days ago for a brand new Mazda CX-60, which is the slightly larger SUV we now do as part of the new vehicle range, the plug-in hybrid edition, and decided they wanted something with a bit more size and wanted to sort of make that step onto the ladder of electric and petrol as well. So anyway, there we go. We've seen how nice a condition the car is in. To tell you a little bit more about it, and this is where it sort of details how rare this car is. It's a CX-5, obviously. It's the 2.5 petrol, so a model that was only, or an engine that was only added to the range in around 2021, and it's the all-wheel drive version as well. So 2.5 all-wheel drive petrol, 194 brake horsepower, and you'll see on the back of the car you get a little badge just to confirm so that it is the all-wheel drive. That's the way to tell. The only other model in the range you'll see that on is the diesel all-wheel drive model, and it was only available in the GT Sport trim level, so this is a very top of the range car we're looking at here. You get these sort of gunmetal grey alloy wheels on the exterior, and I think predominantly with the GT Sport most of the significant differences between that and the rest of the range are on the inside of the car, which we'll run through in just a moment. But you can probably see we've got the LED headlights as standard. You've also got your radar cruise control as standard as well, with the sensors being just behind the badge there. No, there we go. So a very rare car. Well, we'll start at the back of the car. I'll just show you the boot space on this particular car, and obviously that is standard throughout the CX-5 range. As rare as this car is, it doesn't have a boot twice the size of any other one, but it does have a big boot. And you have this tonneau cover here that you can clip on up there on the windscreen. And you probably also saw, it's just, again, I default to not telling people about it, but it's got the power lift tailgate, which was only standard on the Sport and the GT Sport model. Something else that makes this car a little bit rare is it has a tow bar fitted. So it's a Mazda approved product, AK41 detachable tow bar. And there is the tow bar itself. I won't attempt to fit it because I'm sure I'll make a fool of myself, but the previous customer used the car to tow a caravan, hence wanting the 2.5 all-wheel drive model. And there is a socket just under the rear bump here where that fits in. It locks in with a key, which is just pictured here. Whilst we're here, you may have seen part of the specification on the GT Sport and the Sport model CX-5s. You get the BOSE Sound System. Now this is part of that sound system. That's a subwoofer. Looks a bit like a spare wheel, but it isn't. That's sort of the base part of your sound system. There we go. So it has a tow bar as well. To close the boot, simple press the button just here, and you'll see it closes on its own. So I'll show you around the interior of the car. The first thing you're likely to notice, which is specific to the GT Sport, is they have this dark brown Nappa leather. They say the Nappa leather is slightly softer in its feel, so I don't know, it's hard to tell really, but I suppose it is a little bit, but it gives a very nice sort of colour combination. Be honest with you, it doesn't show up too well on a video. It's better to come and see the car in person, and maybe with a bit of light off of it, that's sort of, maybe it's what it truly looks like there. With the CX-5 GT Sport, you also have heated seats in the back of the car, controlled just here. So nice if you have passengers in the winter time. This little compartment opens up and you've got USB ports in there, so if you need to charge phones or tablets on a longer journey, you can do that without having to have trailing cables come through from the front. And also air vents in the back. So frequently you find people don't feel the full force of the air conditioning from the front of the car. It's nice to have it in the back as well. So so there we go. And just to show you the interior at the front, and there were just little touches in the GT Sport model that sort of make it significant over and above the others. One of them I really like is the sort of chrome electric seat button on the front seat. So that's on both front driver and passenger side, and you can see you've got lumbar support here and the memory seat function, which is useful if you've got two people driving the car. And that's maybe if I stand back a bit, you can probably see what the Nappa leather looks like. Now there isn't so much light showing on it. It's all been kept in very nice condition. Just jump in. I'll show you a few more features that the car's got which are specific to the GT Sport. So first and foremost, the GT Sport's the only model in the range that has the full black roof headlining here. So typically this sort of black cloth you're seeing here would be a beige or like a grey colour in another vehicle, but it sort of gives it a nice feel, nice sporty feel. Not specific to the GT Sport, but it's on the Sport and the GT Sport. You've got the BOSE surround sound system, a very, very high quality sound system. I know it's not the sort of thing you buy a car for, but it is a nice thing to have. You have these little tweeters in the A pillar. You've got door speakers down here as well. I think you've got speakers all the way to the very back of the car on the C pillar, including that subwoofer I just showed you. It is a truly fantastic sound system. I'm just going to run through some of the other features we've got here. So on the Sport model, you'd have the heated seats and the heated steering wheel in the front anyway. The GT Sport offers you seat ventilation as well for the summer months, so you can turn that on, tell the difference because the lights on that button are blue, whereas they are orange on the heated seat. And it just sort of blows cool air around up your back, and if anything, it actually sucks the air away from your back to create like a cooler vacuum, so your back doesn't stick to the leather seats in the summertime. You also had the fully digital dashboard display, which is now a standard feature in the new CX-5 across the range. But as you can see, this sort of central display, or the instrument cluster, is all digital. You've got your speedo in the middle, rev counter on the left, you've got your temperature and fuel gauge on the right, and the information display in the middle can be changed off the info button here on the wheel. And you can have just a standard analog speedometer. You've got two trips, so trip A and trip B. It tells you your miles per gallon, etc. You can have your lane departure warning system live on the screen as well, so if you drift out beyond the white lines, it lets you know. And then finally, service, when the next service is due in terms of mileage or your fuel range. So it's quite a nice little computer to have in front of you. And as well as that, I'm not sure how well this will show on the camera, but you've got the heads-up display projected out this sort of cubby hole here on the dashboard. There's actually a projector in there, so if you can see that on the video, you see you've got a hologram of your speed and the speed limit on the road you're driving on. You do also get sat-nav directions on there too, and difficult to show on a video, but from where I'm sat, if I hold the phone right in front of my face, you can see it looks as though it's floating a few feet beyond the bonnet, so you barely have to refocus your eyes to look at that. Just while we've got the camera focused on the central or the instrument cluster display here, I'll just zoom in on the mileage so you can see that's just a touch over 11,000. Car's coming up for 2 years old. It's been very lightly used, predominantly just for school runs and the odd trip for a holiday in the UK. The family actually have two cars that they use, so this is sort of the school run car. So it's had a very easy life. One final thing just to highlight on this car, I think it's quite a nice feature really. It was around the time where Mazda introduced their newest software and newest infotainment system to the CX-5. So this screen you're seeing here is as you would get in a brand new CX-5. You see a lot of models perhaps not too far behind this one in terms of age, which would have the older system. This one's a lot cleaner, a lot quicker. It's got some nicer features, and also the bigger screen as well. It's a much wider screen. I think we've got some certain things on here which definitely benefit from this wider screen. The first one I'll show you is the 360-degree camera. As you can see, a very, very clear image. You've got your reversing camera here, the 360-degree camera, which gives you almost like a bird's eye view, like a drone is hovering above the car and filming you as you park. And you can see I'm nice and crooked against the curb there from where I've parked here. But anyway, with a bit of adjustment, I'm sure we could sort that out. That's what the purpose of that feature is. And that is something that's specific to the GT Sport, is the 360-degree camera. Looks all the more better on this screen. There we go. Just when you take the vehicle out of reverse and back into park, it goes just back to the regular screen. It's got a different satellite navigation system to a lot of other models. You've also got the option on this system of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which again was something that was a feature on the previous models with the previous system, but it's something I will always mention in a video because of how good a feature it is, really. So if you go into connectivity settings here on your main menu, whether you're an Apple user or an Android user, you can pair your phone up. The cable USB port is just in here in the center armrest, so you can tuck it all away nicely with the phone in there, and you can mirror various apps from your phone screen to the screen of the car. So for example, if you're an Android user, it could be Google Maps. If you're an Apple user, it could be the iPhone Maps. A lot of people like Waze as well, just a generic app you can download whether you're Apple or Android. And apps like Spotify for music, or Apple Music if you're an iPhone user. And WhatsApp as well. You can make and receive messages using Siri or the Google equivalent. I can't remember the name of it. I'm an iPhone man myself. But again, a very useful feature to have. And I think you can see it's just a much cleaner display. Worth noting, and something I didn't mention earlier on, with this being the 2.5 all-wheel drive version, it was only available in automatic, and like I said, in this trim level, so it is an auto box. The all-wheel drive system itself is adaptive, so it's got speed sensors in each wheel. There isn't sort of a button here or over here that you press to put the car into all-wheel drive mode. It just uses its own sensors to decide when it's needed, and that could be that one wheel is spinning 3 times the speed of the other, or it could be that your in-car temperature, which today is showing us 14 degrees, if that's showing you -5 and there's a high risk of ice, the car will automatically put itself into all-wheel drive. There are loads of different sensors in the car, sense points that can help the vehicle to determine whether it needs to be on all-wheel drive or not. So there we go. I'll give you one final look around the car. You should probably mention it's got the sunroof as well, which just adds a bit of light to the cabin. You can close it if you want. All in all, just a very nice and very rare car, and we're delighted to have it in stock here at TW White & Sons. So there we go, it's cleaned, it's prepared, it's available to view and test drive here at our site in Bookham. If you'd like to arrange time to come and see us, then please do give us a call. We very much look forward to hearing from you. Thank you once again, and we hope you enjoyed the video.